Okay, so I'm just going to show you how to do a general scrape. So the first thing you'll need is a sharp blade. This is a Stanley knife, just a standard one. You can use a scalpel or you can use a reed knife, doesn't matter which. You also need a plaque like this. I use the plastic convex. I find them quite good. They're about £1 from Howarth you can get them. So just put your plaque in. So a general scrape, you have to move in diagonal shapes across the reed, and what you do to one side you always do to the other side. So I'm just going to show you that really carefully. I use my thumb to help lean as a pivot for the knife, and I'm going to scrape a V like this, one side, and then same action on the other side there. You go again and again, and then going to turn it round and do the same to the other side like that, and then like this. The reason we use the V scrape is to avoid this section here, which is the heart, and that's where we get the nice tone. So we're making it slimmer, but we're not making it thin with a nasty sound. So I'm going to do that a couple of times on both sides, and then you check to see whether that's made a difference. It's still very hard, so keep going. Getting there. Okay. I'm going to show you how to do a tip now. The tip is the start of the sound, and it needs to be even and quite thin across from all the way from one edge to the other. Okay, and that needs to be on both sides so you get a nice clean start to a note. So I'm going to put my plaque in, and I'm going to have a very careful look at the colour. Now I can't see much black through my reed, so I can tell my tip is very, very thick. So to scrape the tip, use your thumb again to rest the knife upon it, so you have lots of control as to where the knife's going, and you move gently forward until you can hear a clicking sound onto the plastic. And I'm just gently doing that across the whole way until I can start to see some black showing through from the plastic colour of my plaque will show through the cane, and I'll start to see it get a bit thinner. And I'm just going to keep doing that because my tip is very thick. Yours, however, may just need a few goes on either side, and if you're unsure, just do it a couple of times, have a little toot on it, see if it's helped. And if it hasn't, stick it back in, do another couple of times. So you're always testing the reed, checking that it's worked. So I can see a bit of black coming through now, I don't know if you can see that. So I'm going to try it. Still quite stiff. So I'm going to do that a bit more. And another thing that I like to use is wet and dry sandpaper. You can get it from anywhere, B&Q, somewhere like that. It's just a fine gritted piece of sandpaper, and that is really helpful for the tip, because obviously this is really delicate work, and if you take the tip off, then oh dear, with the knife. So when we get to the last bits, I tend to use a piece of wet and dry sandpaper. It looks a bit like this, very fine gritted, and you just move it upwards like that. Okay, don't move it backwards, because you can damage the reed by doing that. So I'm using upwards motion, and can you see, you can really start to see the black coming through now, and that's really going to give my reed a really lovely kickstart to my sound. And it also smooths out your reed. You can do this to free a reed up if it's got really hard and it's not starting, you know, when you've soaked it and you know it's fine but it's not quite going. A bit of sandpaper gets it going as well, so that's another good tip. There we go, that sounds really nice. Okay, I'm just going to give you a few tips now. When your reed is going really well, but you can't work out what's wrong with it, if it's just still a bit hard but the tip looks great and you've given it a scrape, a lot of the time there's always a little sneaky piece of cane, a little bit too thick, just behind the tip here, and this is where we call the shoulders, this area here, and the shoulder on the other side there. Okay, there's always usually a tiny bit there that's stopping it vibrate right. So very carefully, just a few shaves off the very edge, just behind the tip, will free your reed up, like so. If you can see with your eyes that it's already quite thin there, don't do it. But if you can see it's quite a yellowy colour, not a white colour, then do it. Just carefully like that. It's also very important that you use a very sharp knife. I can also see on my particular reed that I've got quite a bit of extra thick, you can see that on this side. I think that's probably going to be a problem, so I'm just going to take that off. And now my reed is really starting to crow exactly as it should.